Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is go time. It is Monday. And there's my fabulous mother hen right here at the very beginning saying cheers. And I would lift my cup to you, except I left it. Anyway, Nancy, good to have you here in the house. Doris, we're delighted you're here. And same with you, Jackie. Thanks so much for joining us. It's Motivational Monday. And you know what that means? Motivational Monday means we are going to start our day with a direction. We're going to, I'm going to give you some food for thought here. I've got some really interesting stuff for you, by the way. Hello, Ellen. It's lovely to have you here. And our girl, Martha. Of course, the dream team is here. You want to say hello as well to Jenny and Lindsay and Amber. They're here. They're here. Who else is experiencing fall besides Tracy? Tracy's here in the house. We're already getting color, y'all. We're already getting. You know what? I'm not happy about that thing. I'm not happy about fall. I want a little more summer. I want a little more summer. I don't know about you. Alice, I'm glad you're here. Sue, I'm glad you're back. And hello, my friend Darla. I am delighted that you're here. We have something we're not quite ready to give an announcement on, but we do have a class coming up, and it's going to be it's going to be a workshop on cravings. This is a little bit different than what we've done in the past, but we'll have a page to kind of explain all of it, of course. To you. These glasses are kind of crooked, or is that my face? But we will have a page to tell you all about it, and we'll have everything lined up and in a row for you. I'm really, really excited about this. You know, this idea came to me simply by the success on TikTok that we've had with talking about cravings. And cravings, it's going to be all about cravings. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Stop the Cravings Workshop. That's what it is. And I wanted to do this because, you know, it's more than just L-glutamine. It's more than just get the mindset piece in place. There's a lot of complexity when it comes to cravings. And as a person who has been there, done that, gotten the t-shirt, I felt a little bit qualified to talk about this. So that's what this is all going to be. This is what this is all going to be about. Oh, I'm so happy for Bruce. Tell him congratulations. Tracy, Jocelyn, Kathy, Catherine in the house. So nice. I'm so glad you're here. All right. So we're going to talk about all of the things, because today, we're going to set the tone for the week. Like I said, that's what Mondays do. You know, I love having my calendar out and my journals out and getting down to the nitty gritty of what is important. And that's exactly what it is that we're going to do. Yes, we're going to bring TikTok on, and then we're going to get busy. Who's ready to do this? Hi, Paige. She said, thanks for keeping my mind off of being on the treadmill. You are so welcome. I'm glad you're on the treadmill. You keep doing it, girlfriend. Good for you. That's smart. That's kind of multitasking, I think, is brilliant. It says go live. There it is. Okay, we're going. We are going. Are you ready for this? Okay, let's do it. All right. So welcome TikTok, Facebook, and of course YouTube. And I'm so glad you're all here. Okay, today we're going to be talking about this whole concept of early birds versus night owls. How many of you identify as a night owl? Just out of curiosity, raise your hand. Don't be afraid. Raise your hand. If you identify as a night owl, raise your hand. And the reason I'm going to ask you about this is because it is It is some big time stuff. Oh, and I forgot to tell you about the rising tide, didn't I? The rising tide is starting tomorrow night at Tuesday. Hey, Amber over there. It's starting tomorrow at Tuesday night. I forgot all about it. How could I forget? savingdinner.com/rising tide if you haven't done that. Look, and you have to have your journal to do that. Okay. We'll talk about your Take Back Your Life journal here in just a sec. Okay. Alice is a night owl. So is Paige. If you're a night owl, raise your hand. Okay. Maybe I can change your mind on this. Okay. Because I did a little bit of a deep dive on the difference between early birds and night owls. And it was fascinating because I am a reformed night owl. And I noticed that the quality of my work and the efficiency and the amount of work that I get done is directly corresponds with how late I stay up and if I get up early. So there's something here to all of that. So we have to talk about that because it is it's all the things. William Camden said that the early bird gets the worm. He also says it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And he says the proof is in the pudding. So this guy came up with a few things. But early bird gets the worm. I think Benjamin Franklin had another early something or other, but I'm not going to dig into what his is. Look at that. Okay. Look at. So here's the thing that I found about being an early bird. Early birds have a tendency to have a design for their lives. They are more likely to get more done, and they get it done earlier in the day. I love to keep my mornings. As a matter of fact, if you ever try to book a coaching appointment with me, you will find you will never get a morning because my mornings are precious. This is when I knock a whole bunch of stuff off. I do some writing and what have you. I'm fresh and I have certain things and I can get my focus done and get things done. So, but there's some research. And the research is going to show you what early birds are about. First of all, the research shows us that early birds are more confident and they get more done earlier. I just said that. But it's true because there's research that backs all of this stuff up. The other thing is they're more likely to follow schedules and routines and, dare I say them, rituals. That's what we call our morning and evening stuff that we do. They're more apt to follow those and get those things done. And number three, what happens with people who are early birds is they found that their good habits create what they call a compound effect, right? So it's like compounded interest. You get your workout done, you get your reading done, you get your learning done first thing in the morning, and it all piles up, piles on, and it has its own momentum. This is what happens with good habits. It's also what happens with bad habits as well. But let's just say an early bird is a good habit. Number 4, there's less time in front of screens when you're an early bird. Did you know that? Night owls have a tendency to a lot of screen time. So when you're a morning person, right? And you know how people always identify as such. When you're a morning person, you're more apt to get into your journal and start that morning ritual and get those different things done because they all pertain to your goals. They pertain to getting through the tube and getting those things done. And it makes you feel better knowing that you get those things done. Number 5 rather, is that your focus is easier when it's quiet. I mean, anybody who has little kids knows this. You could say, yeah, well, it's like that at night too. Well, at night, your resolve is lower. And there's a few other problems with nighttime. And we'll talk about that. Number 6, flow comes easier too. And opportunity then comes a knocking when the flow comes. I love, like this morning, I knocked out some writing that was on my list of things to do. And I was very pleased with myself for getting it done early. I organized my desk a little bit better. I did a few other things and felt more in the groove. When we're in the groove, we can get more accomplished and we want to stay in the groove. It feels better. Have you noticed that, how it feels better to be in the flow? So the other thing is that your morning ritual then becomes sacred. Sacred. It's true, because in your morning ritual, if you have my Take Back Your Life journal, you know about your morning ritual, right? Your morning ritual is a time where it's not just a time for to-dos, it's also a time for your self-improvement. It's time to read, it's a time to meditate, it's a time to get your act together for the day. And it's amazing how much better and how much more prepared you feel for your day and for what's next when you are a morning person. Early bird, an early bird. Here's what happens though with night owls, right? One of the things that they found is that it inevitably happens that night owls will conflict with another family member. Well, Mark and I, when we met, was a night owl. And I just said, that's just not going to work for, I mean, we were in bed last night at 9:30. Of course, we'd had a tournament this weekend and we both played our little hearts out. We did not medal at this time, but we both played our little hearts out and we're exhausted. So of course we're going to go to bed early and be honoring that, right? And then still we got up early. But here is what the research says. That night owls are 56% less likely to get their fitness in during the day. 56% less likely. So one of the things about early birds, and one of the Mark Twain things that we borrowed from him, is to eat your frogs first. Remember that? Eat your frogs first. So one of the frogs that we have is maybe our fitness stuff. For me, I like to play pickleball. That's not, to me, that's not a fitness thing, although it is a fitness thing. It's just a fun thing that I do. And it just also keeps me in the groove. But going and lifting weights and doing all of that stuff, I'm not exactly stoked to do it. I just know it makes me feel better. And I'm doing it for age-related reasons. I don't want to be an old lady with a bunch of broken bones. And so I'm working on that now to keep my bones. So if I were staying up way late at night and getting up later in the morning and still have to work and all of that, I wonder how well my fitness routine would do. According to the research, 56% of these people, of night owls, abandon it. Number 2, you're at higher risk of developing diabetes, high blood pressure, and psychiatric disorders. Don't shoot the messenger, y'all. I got this directly from PubMed. This is letting you know that we're not built for this. We're not built for this night owl business. Although, it's easy. And we say, oh, but I'm still getting the same amount of sleep. Well, not necessarily. We'll talk about that too. Number 3 is your insulin response becomes impaired from staying up late. Again, remember something here. You're fighting the circadian rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is basically what the chickens are. So when you see chickens, if you've ever had chickens, anybody here ever had chickens? I have. Chickens, they're so cute. Chickens, you'll see them. They'll start to, it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock or whatever. They know it's coming. They get their little selves, chick, 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 chick. They go right into their little hen house and they get on their roost and they're going to do their thing. And then first thing in the morning, well, if you've ever heard a rooster, they're up at the crack of dawn or a little bit even before the dawn. They know that the sun is rising. This is how we're built, and it's our natural circadian rhythm. So this is fascinating to me, that our circadian rhythm is going to indicate when you're doing well and when you're not, right? It's going to actually impact your health. As a matter of fact, number 4 is you're more likely to be depressed if you are a night owl. This is what the research says, y'all. This is what it says. Because, think about it. You're getting up later, you're feeling kind of groggy, and by the time you get everything's shaken off, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it does depend. It is important on when you shift your sleeping time versus your wake time. So it's just interesting. Number 5 is that you get less sleep as a night owl, mostly, and you're also going to get less quality sleep. Again, it's because you have disrupted your circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm, they find, with with us, our best thing would be to go to bed with the chickens, right? Go to bed with the chickens and get up at the same time. Most of us aren't going to do that. But dialing back on these late hours and going to bed earlier is going to gird you up for all kinds of things and keep you a lot stronger with your body and with your impulses as well. You know what I mean by impulses. Who's ever had a late night snack and regretted it later? Anyone? I'll tell you, I have. I know exactly what that's about. Number 6, even with the same amount of sleep, the health risks are greater for night owls. This is all according to the research. You're more likely to snack, smoke, and drink, and die younger. It's not me, y'all. This is the research. I'm not making this stuff up. So, food for thought. Maybe it's time to start considering when you go to bed and when you get up. So, frog eating, right? Mark Twain very famously said, when you have a frog to eat, you want to do it first thing in the morning so it's out of the way. Well, if you want to look at it as having your dessert or putting the big rocks in the jar first before you put in the pebbles and the sand and all of that, however it is you want to look at it, early risers have an advantage, heart, mind, body, and soul, to late risers. They just do. They get their routines taken care of and their rituals. They get their food made. They're happier and have more energy. They're pursuers of goals. They're bridge builders. Remember, we're always building a bridge, because if our goal is here and we are over here, we got to build a bridge to get over there. There are steps to take, and you're the only one who can do this. You are the only one who can do this. They're also, all of this is backed by research, by the way. All of this is backed by research. Really easy to find. Just Google, early risers plus research, and you'll find all kinds of stuff on there. It's fascinating information. So if you are saying, oh man, that's me, and I do stay up late and I do all these things and I don't like this, and you're saying, yeah, I want to be an earlier riser, okay, I've got steps on how to take it. If you're going to bed at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is, you don't just suddenly go to bed at 10 p.m. because you're cracked up and wide awake. You got to dial it back. So here's what you need to do. Number 1 is to go to bed earlier. So dial it back a half hour. A half hour. It's easy. All you have to do is, like, if you go to bed at 1, say, I'm going to go to bed at 12:30 tonight. 12:30 tonight. Guess what? You could do it. You can do that. And then a couple of days later, you say, now I'm going to go to bed at midnight. And then a couple of days later, see how you feel. And strong push here is get yourself a little bit exhausted with it. Do some extra exercise, add something else in, and start getting yourself ready for that quick night time. Number 2 is create what I call a sleepy time ritual. Do something for yourself, your evening routine, your evening ritual. One of the things that I like to do, especially now, you can see I'm already hoodied up here because I'm chilly. It's cold in our house and it's a little cold outside. One of the things that you can do, which I believe with all of my heart is just so helpful, is a nice cup of tea. Get yourself, one of the things that I like is, golly, what is the name of that? It's Sleepytime Tea. I've got Sleepytime Tea. I've got all kinds of different teas to be drank in the evening. And you just let it brew and sit. It's got a chamomile and all kinds of stuff in there. And it is part of a ritual. You can make tea a ritual. It really works and it really helps a lot. The other thing is, number 3 is to create sacred space for your morning stuff. So one of the things, like especially if you're using our journal, you're going to also want your own journal like this, and a pencil to write with and what have you. Why not put it in a little basket and have it next to a chair that you usually sit on? If you are studying whatever you're reading, or you're studying the Bible, or whatever it is that you're doing, this is just put that stuff all together and it's there in that basket to remind you. One of the other things that I do is I put, for the books I'm reading, I put these little flags in there so I can flag the book where I am and go back and read something. I also like a highlighter. Yeah, highlighters are phenomenal and wonderful. And I also have my earbuds, because my earbuds I use for the app on my phone so that I could get my meditation done as well. It works out really well, morning stuff. And number 4, I've got a big one for you. For all of you who are saying, yeah, I don't want to set my alarm or whatever. If you don't need to set an alarm, then, obviously don't set an alarm. But for those of you who set alarms that make you scream and go, oh my gosh, and scare the living liver out of yourselves, because your alarm is going off, set it to a gentle, quiet type of a ringing, and have it just start a little bit louder and a little bit louder and a little bit louder. Nobody needs to be abruptly brought into the place of the land of the living. If you're sleeping, there's nothing worse than an alarm that jars the heck out of you. Am I right? We don't need to do that to ourselves. So have some kind of pretty sound, even pretty bells. I've got one that sounds like chimes, just tiny and just lovely. Yeah, that's what we need. We need to treat ourselves so much gentler. We need to be kind to ourselves. And then the last thing is a dark, cool room. We have in the winter, we have our temperature set at 65 at night, so that we don't have the heat constantly on. I even sometimes turn on the ceiling fan if Mark's not looking, because, ceiling fans. But we have to do this for ourselves. We have to start understanding our biology and respond in kind. We need dark rooms. Now, if you are living in a place where you get a lot of ambient light coming in, or you've got, a light here and a light there, we have an alarm clock, by the way, that's completely dark screen. You don't have to have those lights glowing in the background. You don't have to have lights in your smoke alarm and all of that. I bought some black dots off of Amazon, and I put little black dots on all those little lights. Believe it or not, that messes with your circadian rhythm. And yes, I know it sounds like Princess and the Pea stuff, but we really are that sensitive to these things, and we just don't realize it. Sleep disorders are on the rise. And one of the reasons why is that we're not listening and doing the things that we need to do for our bodies so that we can fall asleep quickly and stay asleep. Makes all the difference in the world. So remember, morning folks have the advantage, and their success begins in the morning, not later on in the afternoon. It begins in the morning. And I also like to say that success creates success. There's momentum there that happens when you become a morning person. Just a thought. Take it for what it is, and I hope you found that to be helpful. Don't forget, Rising Tide starts tomorrow. If you want to get down on your goals, this is the thing. The Take Back Your Life Journal, you can find it at savingdinner.com/journal. And Rising Tide, we do have a couple of seats left. It's at savingdinner.com/rising tide. Go check that out and see if that's something you want to do. All right? I certainly appreciate the fact that you show up and you're here on this Monday. It's going to be a great week. Peace be with you. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.